Brought to you by Penguin.
Tomorrow by Damian Dibben. Read by George Blagden. Prologue 1. Elsinore Palace, Denmark, 1602. It began, this journey of many lifetimes, in an ordinary way. He and I went to pick oysters on the shore. He loved them more than any other food, loved the ritual of unlocking abrasive shells to discover a treasured interior, smooth alabaster and incorporeal liquor. And when he feasted on them, they had a transformative effect. His shoulders dropped, his brow unknotted, and his eyes softened, sometimes to tears.
"We shall have luck this afternoon," he said, pulling on his boots. "The tide is low, so low we could almost walk to Sweden."
He took down his cloak, shook it out and tied it at the neck, throwing the weight over his shoulders.
"And I have a sense—"
He unbolted the front door and barged it open.
"Yes, there is still a good light."
When he realized I was not following, he stopped and turned, head tilted to one side, a questioning silhouette in the doorway.
"Where are you, my champion?"
Even now the memory of his voice, as deep and gentle as a forest ravine, makes my heart split like a husk. I hung back in the shadows, half hidden behind the baluster legs of the great hall table. It's easy to believe, now half a continent and centuries away, I had a presentiment of dread, a doomy foreknowledge of what we'd discover on the silt flats below. But I had none. Neither did insolence nor stubbornness keep me there. I had yet to learn those traits. No, my reasons were less remarkable. We'd already been roaming that morning, and soon evening would be drawing in. It was the time to build a fire in our oak-panelled parlour, or in the palace library, for me to sit beside it and feel the warmth against my fur, as he pored over the inscriptions in books, chatting along all the while. He discovered me in the gloom, and the corners of his eyes creased with a smile.
"What a fuss is here!"
He came to my side, knelt and ruffled my neck, making me tremble with shame.
"Where will life lead us if we hide behind tables? The world out there is where we will find answers. And joy. And oysters, my champion."
He laughed, turned on his heels, and this time I went with him. Once outside, I revived. A warm wind carried with it scents from inland, sweet pine, woodsia, and wild thyme, and I realized, after all, it was far from darkening time. A benign rose-pink sun had only half descended. I stared for a moment, back straight, ears proud, surveying the coast from the castle walls to the open sea. In that time, I knew no other place but the little town of Elsinore and its castle. I had no sense I was, in fact, destined to be a wanderer, perpetually travelling from one palace to another, and then from battlefield to battlefield. But that afternoon I remember being thankful for my lot, my home, my companion, my happy life. He sensed the change in my mood and laughed again.
"So you've come back to me, have you, my virtuoso, who has nothing but sensibility?"
He picked up a bucket, swilled out the rainwater, and we went side by side down the stone staircase to the shore.
"Look, my champion, the ocean has all but deserted us. How kind it is to relinquish its spoils."
Ahead was an endless plain of silver-wet sand, disappearing towards a dreamy mystery of horizon. In no time, he found a cluster of shells, crouched down, took a knife from his pocket and prized one apart from the rest. He tested its weight, examined it from all sides, his face folding this way and that.
"Perhaps too timid for us, or we too rough for it."
He held it out for me. I didn't care for oysters then, any more than I do today. Their saline stench has always stuck in my nostrils.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?